I'm Scott L. Miller. It's the 26th of July, 2023. This is my vlog of daily life living in León, Nicaragua, and look at that sky. It is dark. We've got a storm rolling in. We've had thunder going on for about 30 minutes, and pretty soon we're going to have a bit of rain, we think. We're going to get to the day right after the bump. Welcome to the show, and today's going to be a bit more vloggy than I am most days. I've really gotten pretty heavily into doing kind of very topical content in a lot of cases, and today we're going to do a little bit more vlog-like content like we used to because I need to. This week has been so busy. I'm so far behind on videos. Not behind, like I'm getting them out in time, but I like to have a 6 or 7 day buffer, and I do not have that in any way whatsoever at this point. I am getting the videos consistently done at about between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and you guys see them at 7. So I am scrambling to get them uploaded, and we, like, whether we lose power or there's a little bit of internet, something goes on, or the kids are downloading a big video game, something will happen. That's what happened last night. The kids were downloading a video game and I lost 2 hours because of that, and I ended up what I thought was going to be done with an edit at midnight did not get done until about 2:30 in the morning. Not at all ideal. I'm really losing a lot of sleep from that. So I'm working on trying to get the show done a bit more up to date. And this week is going to be absolutely bonkers as I try to get content made for you guys, because I've got some interesting stuff, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So that's currently what's going on and why I'm recording in this format today. I'm really hoping that my daughter Liesl can take over editing this week. I'm going to sit down, hopefully get a couple episodes out with her so she can get into the groove, and then hopefully I can send her videos remotely so that she can get online and do those edits and get them uploaded. She's never done the entire process. I've always been here, and I'm going to be here most of the week. I'm only gone a little bit, so it shouldn't be too bad, but I really need her to do quite a bit for me to be able to have any real hope of getting things done. So yeah, we're going to see how that works. And when you understand what the schedule is like, you'll understand why it's going to be really rough like that. So I'm actually recording this on Monday, and busy weekend. Things were good. We were really hoping today that we were going to take the kids to go see the Barbie movie here in León. It turns out that it is showing. It's been showing, but it's only showing in Spanish. They're not offering any English version whatsoever, which is weird. So we're trying to find out if we can see it in English in Managua instead, which is not really, I mean, originally the kids wanted to go to Managua because they like going. We'll go get Italian food and we'll do shopping and we'll have fun. And it's just a little bit of driving, and that'll be fine. But at the moment, we're trying to find out where we can even see it at all, what the options are. So that put a damper on our evening today. That was our plan, but it kind of works out because I'm so busy that it's not really the worst time for having something get canceled. Tomorrow so I'm actually recording this on the 31st, so you're just going to see this in just a few hours, and you'll be like, oh yeah, no, he's recording these really close to when we actually see them. That's a bit extreme. So on the 1st, we are going to be in Managua. That is the plan. So that is tomorrow in my time here. I think I hear rain starting and I'm standing out in it. There's all the little flies coming out that you get just before the rain hits. So we're going to step under some roofing there so that we're not actually getting rain on the camera, which is not a big deal because it's waterproof. I'm on the X3, but it gets the lenses a mess, and then I have to deal with cleaning them up, so I'd rather not have to do that. The rain seems to have held off. I say that rain just hit my foot as I said it, but it's not really anyway. So I did get asked today by someone who said, you know, I'm coming in and I'm bringing in a lot of electronics. Now, he didn't say if he's moving or just tourist or whatever, so I'm a little bit in the dark. But coming in to Nicaragua and flying in at Managua Airport. And he's wondering about bringing a lot of electronics. How much is he going to get hit for with taxes and stuff, and what can he do to minimize that? And the answer is there's not a lot you can do, right? That's the first thing. Like, they're really good about catching you with electronics, and it's very hit or miss. So you can't predict how much it's going to be, and you can't predict which items are going to get dinged too much. The rule is, if you have tourist items that are legit tourist items, you generally are going to be clear because they're not trying to get you for tourist stuff. If you come in with stuff that is clearly non-touristy, either it's you're setting up a home here or you're setting up a business here, then, or you're here to like work, then there's a real chance of there being taxes on that. And that's just how it is. And people always say, well, that's not fair because, and they come up with an example, and I say, that example doesn't seem to make any sense as a tourist, does it? That's not what's happening. You're not coming in as a tourist. You are trying to get in, and you're trying to bypass something, and so they're legitimately dinging you. Now, when I came in, it was not quite like that. I got dinged on a video game machine for the kids. Now, it's a completely non-portable system. We brought in like a Steam Deck, they didn't say a thing. Brought in a little tiny microcomputer, didn't say a thing. Brought in a huge gaming computer, very obviously not for work, and that's what got us. But it was a huge computer that you could not justify in any way as being a tourist thing. And obviously we're not, right? We were moving in. It was our permanent, built, huge home video game system so that we could play lots of video games, right? Long term. Yeah, they dinged us on that. Yes, we paid a ton of taxes on it. Like, okay. But it was legitimate. We were not tourists. It was not because we were coming to visit even for a number of months. It was because we were moving here and we wanted our long-term video game system. That is what you're supposed to be paying taxes on. We were actually importing a computer. Fully legitimately, no getting around it. We got dinged. What I didn't get dinged on was a whole bunch of other computers that cost a lot more money. I brought in a couple desktops, they didn't say a thing. Brought in several laptops, didn't say a thing. Those things were much more touristy, and they were like, no, those are tourist things, you can have those. But when you're bringing things in so that you can work, that's when you're importing potentially, and you need to pay taxes on that. But remember, same thing, you generally have to pay taxes if you did that to the U.S. You're just less likely to get caught. And I know people who've been caught doing that into Canada with far less and gotten a lot of trouble. So it's, people often try to point to this and be like, oh, Nicaragua is so hard on you. You're not supposed to have 2 phones. You're not supposed to have 2 laptops. That's true. But in Canada, you're not supposed to have a single laptop, right? If you were like, oh, no, it's purely my laptop for playing video games, they're going to be suspicious, but okay. But if you're like, no, I've got to be able to, my job might call me. Whoa, you're here to work? They can revoke your visa. They can ban your passport just for saying those words. They're not likely to, but I know someone who did that, went into Canada. They asked him why he had a laptop. He's like, yeah, I'm coming up. I'm going to do some work while I'm here for the weekend. And they gave him a really hard time and then gave him this is your one free pass. If you ever come back into Canada with a laptop, you'll be banned from Canada. I was like, what? My gosh. They are so anal about not importing anything for work into Canada. They try so hard to make sure that their import taxes cripple the electronics and business market up there. It is nuts. It is very hard to do business with Canada. There's a reason why, as a business person, we always rank Canada far and away. It's not like in the category of with some rough ones. It is so far and away the most impossible and illogical to do business in country. In the zone. It's true, Cuba's actually worse, right? You really can't do business in Cuba, but that's you can't do business in Cuba. Canada's you can, but wow. And they have no interest, none in creating jobs, none in bringing in businesses. They go so far out of their way to make you uncomfortable trying to do business in Canada. I would never try it, ever. Right? It's the last place. I would much rather attempt the Cuba system. At least that's interesting. With Canada, I just feel completely unwanted, right? In every way. As a business person, I feel that Canada really doesn't want me to go there. Whereas Nicaragua was yes, come in. Yeah, if you're bringing in equipment, we're going to tax you. But other than that, welcome. How can we make this work for you? And if you can hear it, that is our bird. He's just in a mood. He's been screaming all afternoon. So the question really was, that was a lot of kind of an aside as to why you're going to pay for things. How do you get around it? And the answer is you don't. If you're flying in with stuff and you're coming through customs, he asked, what if I come in on a private plane? Look, I came in on a private plane. That did nothing. Because you get off the private plane on the tarmac, you walk in, you go through border control. By the time you get to customs, you're so many layers away from your private plane, they don't know where you came from, and they don't care. They're just looking in your luggage to see if you have electronics. That's it. So there's no hiding it by coming in a big group of people. There's no hiding it. It's just the luck of the draw. Are they going to find the thing that you have a lot of, and are they going to care? Now, the only thing they're going to do under normal circumstances, if you're dealing with legit electronics, right, they're just going to tax you for it. It's not like you're going to get in trouble unless it's a drone, which we talked about yesterday. Can't bring drones. But everything else, if it's cameras, you're good. And if it's a whole bunch of work equipment, you just have to pay taxes on it. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of taxes. And so think carefully about what you're bringing. Don't bring things just because I got it, I'm going to throw it into luggage. No. Limit what you're bringing. Make sure it's something you should actually have. If you're coming for a really long time, like you're moving here, rethink your entire electronics portfolio, right? I moved to really small laptops. I moved to tiny desktops. I moved to limited numbers of things. I've really changed my electronics purchasing style to accommodate how Nicaragua approaches things. And it solves a lot of it, right? I buy different brands. I buy them at different times. I focus more on laptops than desktops because they really don't give any problems with laptops, so they do for desktops. Those kinds of things, little things, they can go a long way with those little adjustments to making it that you're not getting dinged in that way that people worry about. And you can import through other ways. If you're coming in your luggage, you've got to justify it all as being a tourist. But if you're coming in and shipping your stuff separately through like Nicabox or whatever, then they handle all those taxes for you. It's part of the cost, and it's often done by weight or done by whatever. And so you can sometimes get a better deal because they're going through in big bulk and doing it rather than individually taking your luggage apart and inspecting it at border control. So, I mean, at the end of the day, bringing electronics in is very hard. We all struggle to do it. You're going to want processes to deal with it. If you need stuff and you just need it and there's no working around it, you just pay the taxes. It is what it is. The rest of life is so cheap, those taxes aren't a big deal. If you were, and so there's the question, well, what if I bought it used? I bring receipts? Yeah, bring those receipts, but they're generally going to mean nothing. They're going to look up the prices of what it is here. They're going to charge you something most likely way above, sometimes even more taxes than what the item is worth to purchase. At the end of the day, right, rethink your electronics. Bring only what you need. You can purchase a lot of things here. Some of it's just a process. If you guys have questions, I mean, first of all, always get down there and ask in the questions below, but if you have questions about specific stuff, you want my ideas about like, oh, this type of a thing, can I get this here? Could I ship it in? Do I bring it with me? I'm happy to try to answer that. Maybe we'll do a video on some of those things for sure. But in general, limit. That is the answer. And then sometimes bring it in multiple trips. Like, oh, I'm bringing in one extra laptop now and then an extra tablet some other time. And it just slowly, as a tourist, you accumulate that stuff. And one of the things we do is we buy new laptops much more often, but cheaper ones. Right, so we're going to go to at Christmas. We'll be heading up to the United States, and someone is getting a new laptop. I don't know who yet, but someone is, because you don't make a trip to the U.S. and not refresh a laptop. Right, so you just always make sure that you're getting a new laptop, so when you're coming down, it's a new one, not an old one. Shipping an old one back and forth makes no sense. Make sure it's a new one coming down so you always have access to the latest stuff, because when something breaks, you're not going to be able to just run to the U.S. and grab something. You could buy something here, but it'd be twice the cost. It'd be almost worth taking a flight up, buying it, and flying down. Like, that's crazy. So you do little things, like do that planning, that I'm going to be up there for Christmas, so I'm going to return with a new laptop. I'm going to be up there, so I'm coming back with a new camera. If you could buy that camera here, but it'd be expensive. But if you get it from there, you don't have a problem. Little things like that. You do some planning around it, and it's really not that bad under normal circumstances. Yeah, it's extra work, but in general, you buy a lot less here, and everything costs less, and over time, you save a ton of money, so you learn to live with a little bit of extra hassle when it comes to electronics, and life's okay. Please remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to help support the channel and help me afford all these electronics that I do have to bring in to do the show. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Scott Alan Miller. Put the link right above. And if you're looking for any help with relocation, like we're doing this week, giving private tours, driving around the country, showing different areas, hit me up, info@relocatenicaragua.com. We'd love to do tours. That's like our favorite thing because it's so much fun. We can do filming while we're doing it. If you want to go up to like the mountains, go see Matagalpa and Jinotega and Esteli, drive around, stay in like little towns, go see adventure stuff and like hang. Like, we'd love to do that. Let's go film some stuff, get on the show, get a private tour. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but I'll drive you around and we'll film stuff. We'll have a good time. Like, more people need to come do that. And I would really love to do group tours. We're not quite ready for that yet, but if you guys are interested, I'd like to hear who's interested. Maybe we'll make a list and like talk about, could we get together sometime early next year and do like a, I don't know, 5 to 10, 12 person group and like take one of the mini buses and go around the country and do fun stuff and see, I don't know, different towns or something. Let me know. That would be really cool. Love it. Still, all that stuff's a little bit expensive compared to, I don't know, when I travel, I'm so cheap. I think for the Americans, they're like, it's not expensive. It's just, I'm so used to the prices down here and how cheap things are that it's like, oh, you're spending more than $10? No, you can't do that. It's outrageous. And you're like, no, we understand private tours are not cheap. It is. It is what it is. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Post on social media. And I will see all of you tomorrow.